Life as a medical student right now is about as hard as it's ever been. You're responsible for learning a seemingly unlimited amount of knowledge about an ever-changing field while balancing research projects, leadership roles, and various other responsibilities you have to take on to be competitive for residency. The best way to accomplish all of these things and still maintain your sanity is by using a system designed to keep you productive, organized, and motivated. I've developed a system specifically for medical students that has worked wonders for me, and I guess in this video you're getting all of my secrets. If you're new here, my name is J.R. Smith. I'm a medical student at the Mayo Clinic, and in this video I'll be walking you through the Notion template that I use to make sure that everything gets done that needs to get done in the most efficient and effective way. This is going to be a bit of a longer video, so as always, timestamps in the description below, so feel free to skip ahead, run things back, do whatever you need to do. But without further ado, let's get into it. So for a little background, Notion is basically this just super powerful organizational tool that can really be used for anything, but I think it's particularly powerful for students. And I also want to give a special thank you to Thomas Frank, who is essentially just the Notion guru and inspired this entire template. So you can see here, this is the Evolving Medic Workspace. This is the workspace that I use to get everything done that I need to in medical school. I have it separated into two specific kind of columns that you can see. We have task management and notes. So basically the two things that you want to keep track of as a student. We'll walk through both of these kind of columns, and then you also see here on the bottom just an overall calendar. And as we walk through the columns, specifically the task management side, you'll see that things kind of auto-populate into the calendar, which makes it nice so you can see what needs to get done this week, this month, yesterday. But it's just nice to kind of have a generalized calendar I found that kind of auto-populates based on the tasks that you put in. So we can go ahead and start up here in task management. You'll see that task management and notes both kind of start with this inbox here. So whenever something pops up and you want to put it on your quote-unquote to-do list, that's where your inbox comes in. So if we click here on inbox, you'll see that this is where we put all of our tasks, all of our to-do lists. And on most of the pages, you also see that there's this kind of little blurb on, how to use this page. So let's walk through putting in one task, and I can show you all the things that you guys can do with this page. So let's say my task is to, like it is every day, finish Anki. Right now, I want this task to be due today. And because I do Anki every single day, I actually want this to be a repeating task that actually happens every single day. If you wanted to do this, if this was a task that you wanted to do every Monday or every Thursday or something, you can also specify that here. But for me, we need this every day. And it's Anki, so of course this is a very high priority task. You can see here, if you have subtasks within something, like if it was complete this research assignment, and then you wanted to create tasks within a task, like write the first draft or gather the data or things like that, you have space here to kind of put tasks within a task. But for this, let's just say that we're done here. I'll show you guys what this project means in a bit, but let's just say this is our first task. So you can see here we have finish Anki, the due date, the next due date, and the priority. I'm going to kind of auto-populate quickly, fill in a few more just random kind of tasks so that I can kind of show you guys how this looks in different aspects of the template. So here I've basically just created a brief list of tasks. We have, walking Blaze, cutting my hair, doing UWorld questions, finishing an abstract, going grocery shopping, finishing a chart review, just a list of random tasks here, and they're all in my inbox. Now, once you get everything in your inbox, you can actually go to things like the Today view, and it'll show you only the things that are due today, which is my Anki. You can go to the Tomorrow view. The only thing that's due tomorrow is also my Anki because, again, we put that on a one-day interval. You can go to a next 7 days view, and that will actually have everything that's due in the next week. So you can see my Anki, cutting my hair, walking Blaze, doing the UWorld questions. So depending on how you want to organize this, depending on how many things that you have on your to-do list, you can actually choose the view that best suits you. Usually if you have a ton of things, then you probably don't want to be overwhelmed and look in for a week, but this is just whatever is best for you. I try to make it so that this can be helpful for whatever personality you have or however many tasks that you personally have going on. Another thing that's nice, if you go back to the home page here, now that I have all of those tasks in my inbox, I can always look at my calendar here, and you can see just by scrolling down to my calendar, all of these things automatically auto-populate onto my calendar. So if I don't actually want to be going into a today view or the week view, I can just stay on my home page, and then I can just see from a more widened lens what I have going on for the rest of the month. So this is basically how I organize my to-do list, all the tasks that I need to have done. It's nice because I fit everything just in one kind of thing into this inbox, and then it kind of auto-populates and I choose the view that I want to have. You can also use a few of these other views that I have in here. If you just want a view of all of your tasks, you can do that. See, if you just have a day of, well, let me just see how many things I can get done, you can do that. You can also use things by priority, so you can see the things that are high priority, finishing Anki, finishing the abstract. If you just want to do the things that are just the most pressing things, you can go to this high priority view, and then you can kind of see working down the line, high, medium to low priority. So it really is just whatever you prefer. What I personally do is I throw things in my inbox, and then I usually will look at my calendar. Sometimes if it's like a weekend day and I'm just like, how many things can I just get through, then I'll usually go to a next 7 days. I'll go to my week view and see if I can kind of get ahead on some things. That's personally how I use it. Again, it's customizable for you to make the best use of it for whatever works for you. Now what we can do is I want to show you this research tab. So in medical school, most people have to do some type of research, regardless of if you're trying to go into a competitive specialty or not. You usually do some type of research experience. And so to be able to have this in an organized way that kind of prompts you to get things done, I found has been helpful. It's helped me a lot in terms of just making sure that things are moving along in the right direction. And so I want to show you kind of how I've been able to do that and how you can use this for yourself. So if we go to our research tab here, what we can do here first is as we create a new research project, there's a research template here. So let's just say ortho research. It's currently just an idea. The principal investigator is Dr. PI. Now what I like here is we can add a project overview or just like the main goals. Usually when you get put on a research assignment or you start your own research assignment, there's a central kind of goal that you're trying to do. When you have a lot of research things building up and you have like 5 projects that you're managing all at once, it's nice to be able to click on something and know, oh yeah, this is the central goal that we're going for with this project. Outside of that, you have this area here where you have just project notes. As you're going through things, again, you have another space for your purpose, but as you're going through things, just general notes that come up. Sometimes you may jump on a call with the research mentors and the rest of the team, and they're talking about things, and as the medical student, sometimes things are over our head, so you can maybe jotting down notes about what's going on, what they're talking about, so that you can kind of catch up to speed as best as you can, but then also a place for you to be able to have some questions that you have, because if you just kind of try to hang on to people's coattails and not really know what's going on, then at some point, it's going to be challenging. So as you're going through this research project, as questions come up, I found it's helpful just to keep track of those, reach out to some members on the team, ask them, or even just do your own research on the questions you have as things are being talked about and figure those things out, because it'll make your ability to do the research more efficiently and effectively. So I like to have a place of just questions that I have, because usually for me personally, I usually end up having quite a few. So if we go back here to, this is just the ortho research page. Again, we did our project overview. We went through our notes. This is just general project info. So the author list, which is helpful to know everyone who's on the team. If you're sending emails to people and you're just like, okay, wait, who is everyone on the team? It's just nice to be able to have that set up, I found. The journal that you're planning on submitting the manuscript to, and then the meetings that you're planning on submitting the abstract to. It's just nice. Again, when you have multiple projects, some things can, be forgotten about. So to just keep track of these things can be helpful. Now here is similar to kind of this to-do list thing that we've been doing with our past task kind of discussion. And this is specifically for a research project. But what I want to show you guys is you don't actually have to go into your research page to put your research tasks. You can if you prefer to, but what I personally like to do is I do everything in my inbox page. So again, we have a few things in my inbox, my to-do list, my tasks that are related to research. So let's say that this chart review and this abstract are both related to that ortho project. So if I go here and I open it, I can assign it now a project. So as you can see here, we have ortho research here. I'm just going to click that. Now it's linked to ortho research. I can come back out of there. I can click on chart review. I'm going to assign this, also now linked to ortho research. So now as I come back to my home page and I scroll down to research, I'm going to go to my ortho research. I'm going to go here, and you can see it automatically auto-populates. So again, I put all of my tasks in that inbox. And then if they're specific for specific projects, I create the project, and then I just assign those tasks to that project, and it will automatically auto-populate. And one thing that's nice is that as you send things, your tasks to projects, they no longer appear here so that this doesn't stay too cluttered. Because one thing that I like where my task inbox, because I'm looking at this every day, is it can feel overwhelming if I just see so many different things on here. And some things, are things that I can just do on a daily basis like Anki, and some things are for specific projects. I don't want everything in here. So once you put it in there, it automatically gets taken out of your task inbox and is assigned to that project. But you don't have to worry about it ever actually leaving your calendar. So you can see here, chart review is still on the calendar, finishing the abstract is still on the calendar. And one thing that's just money, if I do say so myself, is there are a ton of different views that you can use within this template. So if we go back and we look at our research, one thing I love doing is I like going to this board view, and as my research is moving along, again, it's nice to be able to track where each project is, especially if you have multiple projects. I can know, okay, this ortho research, it went from an idea, now it's in data collection. And now I'm in the process of drafting it. Now it's sent to authors, and I can continue to kind of move this project along. And again, as I have multiple ones, I can see the status of where each one is. And so it's nice to know, okay, this is still sent to authors. I actually have my hands clean. I don't need anything to do with this until I get that email back with their edits. So I can just let it be there. I know where it's at. I know the status. I don't have to kind of frantically kind of check in with where everything is. So I found that super helpful. There are a ton of views that you can play around with on all of the pages. So definitely recommend doing that. Another point about the calendar is, remember I said finishing Anki is every single day. So that the calendar doesn't get overwhelmed with things that happen every single day. It actually won't pit it on every single day. It'll, as the day comes up, it'll be there, but it doesn't make you get overwhelmed with having 12 different things on your calendar for a single day just because there's recurring tasks. So that's essentially how the research and the task management kind of works. That's how I use it. Now we can go into notes now. In notes, it begins in a similar kind of way. We have our inbox. The way that I use notes is I use this status dashboard here. So if you click status dashboard, you can see, again, we have a little light bulb thing, which is essentially just telling you how to use this if you didn't watch the video. But you guys are watching the video, so you're ahead. But just like we talked about with our tasks, now whenever we have a new note or just an idea or anything that comes into our mind, a piece of advice that we just heard, a part of a book that we just read, and we want to remember just anything we want to take a note on, we just throw it into our inbox here. So for the sake of example, let's just say I had an idea to build a team of med school mentors for an upcoming project to help pre-meds. If you're interested in being a mentor, shoot me an email. And I just wanted to, it was in my mind, I was in the shower, I was like, oh, I actually have an idea for something. I'm gonna grab my phone, I actually can do this, I usually use Notion on my phone too. I'll just throw that note in there quick, and then I don't even worry about filing it in a certain place or anything like that. You can categorize things if you want to make it easier for yourself to find them. You can choose statuses for things as well, like is it open, urgent, archived, the date that you wrote the note, or the date that something related to the note is due. You kind of have these kind of ways to kind of do that. If something is due, you can also kind of choose a date to be reminded about something that's in that note. But a lot of the times for these kind of notes, these kind of spur of the moment notes, what I do is I just will grab my phone and I'll just type something in randomly and I'll just leave it there and I just let it be there, and sometimes I get around to it, sometimes I don't. But really this is just based on the idea of building a second brain, which was introduced by author Tiago Fort, where he discusses how beneficial it can be to begin building a library of notes and thoughts and random ideas and all of those things in a virtual format that essentially acts as your second brain, so you don't have to worry about trying to remember these spur of the moment kind of things or these book ideas that you have or whatever is going on. You just kind of upload it into your quote-unquote second brain, and then whenever you need to refer to it back later, you can go to that, but then you can allow your brain now to decompress, relieve the pressure of having to memorize whatever you just thought of, and then you can continue to be creative or, productive in whatever else is going on in the day. Now, something else that I've done here is I've actually created separate notebooks that you can use, and these can kind of be your opportunity to sort your notes into different kind of aspects of your life. Sometimes you may want to sort this into different classes that you may be taking, or you can just do more broad kind of notebooks like school, family, personal, whatever kind of organizational system that you want to have for yourself. You have these kind of notebooks here that will be helpful in organizing the notes that you have. And so what I've used for these is a lot of times, for example, I'll do a notebook related to my clerkships. So right now I'm on internal medicine, and you can see I have a kind of a note in here already. I'll show you what that looks like. But I've created these templates for you to be able to use notes. So I've created a template for pre-clerkship lectures, and clerkship notes. I personally don't really take too many notes in class, but I know some people do, so I wanted to create a template for that. So for people who are in their pre-clerkship courses, let's say you're in anatomy and you are doing the upper extremity anatomy. So this is going to be categorized as school. If you want any files to upload to this, you can actually just upload files directly into this note. The date that we had this lecture, let's just say, is today, July 16th, as the day I'm recording this. Doesn't need a reminder, doesn't really need a status. So lecture title, upper extremity, vasculature. One sentence summary. So what I found to be helpful is just when if I try to condense everything in one sentence, it shows me that I learned it. So I've kind of, pushed you guys to do that here, where you're just, okay, what's the one big picture on this? And if you have one, great. If you don't, that's fine. Bulleted notes. If I were taking notes in class, that's probably how I would do it, instead of trying to write every single word that is being said to me, because you're probably not actually going to retain anything anyways. So a place for bulleted notes, and then also a place for kind of high yield notes. So as you go through your bulleted notes and you're just kind of like frantically typing away or writing away, you can actually then transfer the things that you believe are high yield, or that the faculty or the staff or other medical students say are the more important parts of that bulleted list, and then you can transfer those into your high yield notes, and then you can do what you wish with those, turn them into Anki cards, whatever you want to do. So this is a way for you to be able to organize kind of lectures, and it's nice to be able to do things like this instead of writing in a notebook, because once you have kind of a virtual setting like this, then once I can click Command P, and if I wanted to search, I remember that one lecture I had on upper extremity anatomy. It immediately comes up, your note comes up, and it's right here. So you don't have to go skimming through pages of a notebook to try to see, you're not going to find your work. So this is a way where you actually be able to actually find what you're looking for. And then what I've also created, go back here, is one for clerkships. So a clerkship note. This is a note template that I personally use when I'm going through my clerkships. And so it kind of, again, has a similar kind of layout, whatever clerkship I'm in, the one important thing that I've learned today, and then interesting case description. So sometimes I'll have cases, sometimes I won't, but if there's an interesting case description or multiple, you have a space for that. And then if you participated in procedures, you have a space for that. So for example, it can be nice to say, today I did a horizontal mattress suture in the emergency department, and I realized my flaw in doing XYZ. Next time I want to be able to do XYZ. And just kind of sometimes having a place that forces you to reflect on some of the things that you do actually makes you improve in those things. And then ultimately it's kind of like this snowball effect where you're doing a lot of reflection, and then thus you're doing a whole lot of improvement. And then you do just have an overall space to reflect on the day. So I can show you an example here of one I've done on palliative care, and you can see it's on my internal medicine. This was the day. And then I talked about just, a general kind of thing about how I was feeling. Now this was more of a space to reflect that I put up here. I just kind of started typing, and it ended up being there, which is perfectly fine. Again, you use this however you want to, but I kind of just was able to reflect on my time for my first day in palliative care. I didn't have any cases, I didn't do any procedures, but I was able to kind of just reflect. And so sometimes when you want to have these kind of, spaces to do that, I found it's nice to have. And again, when you're going through and you're trying to remember, how did I feel during my palliative care? Command P, palliative care, enter, and you are immediately pulled up to your note. So I just found this would be a really, really efficient and effective way to kind of keep notes, and then you can organize things, again, however you'd like, but just to be able to have a place where you can quickly access a note and then not feel pressure to have things organized right away if you just want to put something in an inbox and then file it later. I found that to be super, super helpful. Now, so many people have commented on my journaling and how I journal and where I journal, because I do it on a pretty regular basis. And that too is within this Notion template if you want to journal. I'll show you how to do that now. So the way that I do it is, again, it's actually in Inbox, because this is essentially my home page. So if you look over here to the right, you can see this daily task. So here I just would put in today's date. Here we have it here. And again, we have our little blurb kind of explaining how to do this. This is actually, again, something that I got from Thomas Frank. He uses this. It's really cool. So what happens is when you go to that daily task, you have your list of tasks for the next 7 days here. If you want to hide it, you can, but you have that for here. And then if you wanted to say from the next week, these are the things I'm doing today. So for example, for me, it could be Anki Review, 40U World, and a place for self-care too. So like workout and walking blaze, let's say. So I can kind of plug some of the tasks in that I really want to do today from a list for the next week, and I can put that there. But where the journaling comes involved is here. So right here for my morning pages, this is usually where I just kind of get into a habit of just like writing how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, things like that, just like at the beginning of the day when I'm kind of going through my Notion template. So my morning pages, I just kind of get everything out, you know, if I'm feeling a certain way, if I want something specifically that I want to accomplish, whatever it is, just in the morning, just the habit of writing I found has been helpful. And then sometimes I'll also do kind of a day, a little evening kind of recap, see how things went. So this is the space to be able to do that. Once you're finished with it, once you kind of have this and you're done and your day is finished, you just click this archive here. And now you'll see that that daily task is gone. So if you ever want to go back to that daily task, you just click here. But again, as you want a new daily task, you just get a new daily task here, click the template, and you are good to go. So this is just kind of a way for you to be able to kind of get into that habit of journaling, get into that habit of self-reflection. And again, if you want specific tasks based on what you have for the week that you want to accomplish in that day, specific self-care things that you want to accomplish in that day, because again, med school is hard and I think this is important. This is your place to do that. So there you have it. That is my Notion template that I use to stay productive, organized, and motivated as a medical student. If you want this template, all you have to do is check out my website at evolvingmedic.com and you can get it completely for free. Also, just check out the website because it was recently revamped. My wife went to work, guys. I'm super proud of this website. It's beautiful. So check out the www.evolvingmedic.com website, and all you have to do is sign up for my newsletter and you'll get this template, and you'll also get semi-weekly kind of bits of motivation and inspiration in my newsletter. So I think it's a win-win. I really think you'll enjoy the newsletter too. It's my 2 cents. But I really do hope that you guys enjoy this template. If you have any recommendations on how it can be improved, let me know, because you guys know I'm always down to keep evolving. But I also hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that it can bring a little bit of organization and productivity into your own life as a medical student, because it's hard. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, keep evolving, and I'll see you guys in the next one.